Okay. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My pleasure to have this opportunity to talk to all of you. Jaushin told me, this year's session is the connectivity, emerging technology, and then you want me to comment on the cybersecurity. So I thought about it, what topic to talk. I think maybe I will just share with you one of the exciting new opportunities, zero trust in the cybersecurity world. I'm sure that you all heard about zero trust one way or the other. I just got back from Taipei, last night, and my mom, 84-year-old lady, she knows zero trust. She heard about zero trust, and recently the zero trust went to the front page of the newspaper in Taipei. The famous department store got attacked. Large volume of customers' credentials got lost. So she saw that zero trust on the front page. And I asked her, Mom, do you know? She asked me, what's zero trust? Just don't trust? I said, Mom, do you know that your son is working on zero trust? She said, oh, really? Just don't trust the bad guy, right? So I will share with you, what's the cybersecurity problem today in the digital world? What's the challenge? Why is it so difficult to solve this problem? And what is zero trust, logically, conceptually? And why it's promising that it's going to solve this problem? And what's the challenge to implement? Right, so we are all connected in a connected world. I just got back from Taipei. If you look at the 6 o'clock, the subway train system is pretty crowded. Every single one of the passengers in the car have a handheld device at the fingertip. They're all very much focused on to be connected, including me. I'm also connected. Okay. The mobile devices change people's life. And not only the device, look at the apps that people can get to, the applications. Now, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if you want to get to some of the application software, you might have to talk to your corporate IT and then try to get the company to buy this machine, buy this software, figure out where to install it in the hardware server machine, and then make it available to all the employees to access it. And then, of course, you need to turn on your VPN so you can get to it. Today, the world is very, very much different. You just have that handheld device, and you can connect to many, many apps. And not just the cloud, rendering all those apps. Now the supply chain is also digitized. Some of the manufacturers, thanks to the globalization, some of the manufacturers at one corner of the world is able to take advantage of the digitizations of supply chains, logistics, and being able to quickly deliver the products to the customers on the other side of the world. It's very, very powerful. So even the product, the goods are connected. And if you look at the software industry, then the software has its supply chain too. I'm sure that many of you may be working on software pieces. Now you can easily embed your software into a bigger piece of the software and then get to the customer's hand through that cloud. So it's amazing. So the digital rate of change is absolutely running much higher now. And I think you all agree with it. If you look at the speed of the progress in the past 10 years, it's been running much, much faster than 30 years all aggregated together before. So if I use this example, the music and the video as an example. So we humans figured out how to digitize them. And then secondly, figured out a way to connect them, to distribute them, to let the customer access to it. So that YouTube and Netflix. And then people figured out interesting services, and then take advantage of those digital contents and make it very, very attractive, interesting. Now the COVID-19 hits the world, push everybody to go home. the productivity is lost, is losing. So now we're all working very hard, trying to push AI and trying to enhance the human productivity. The AI is coming in a stunning way, very, very interesting, surprising. And then we as humans, now we all of a sudden find out that we are disrupted too. The AI is going to make the productivity much more powerful than before. Well, that the disruption is a little bit negative, but we're gonna figure it out. So it's all great. But unfortunately, the digital rate of change is also accelerating in the dark side. The internet hackers are also taking advantage of the digitalization, the software, the AI, the technology, and trying to hack you. They are also making progress along this same technology, emerging technology. So as a result, we start to get all those things, attacks. It's interesting to see that if you're more digitalization, you're more automated. If you're attacked, if you got compromised, you can fail much faster than before. And the failure can be catastrophic failures. Okay, so let's look at those examples. The first one is 2021 Colonial Pipe incident. It started with the hacker using the VPN to attack the company. VPN is a firewall protecting the enterprise. Actually, it has a lot of features to protect, but some of the features can be very difficult to use. So guess what? People just didn't implement it. And the VPN connect the user onto the corporate network. Once the VPN is compromised, the hacker goes in. Once the hacker goes in, it tries to scan the corporate network and find the billing system and then lock it with ransomware. And as a result, the company cannot bill. And the result is that 4.4 million ransom, and then 45% of the East Coast field for the United States got shut down for 5 days. If you look at the 2018 TSMC instance, I'm sure many of you already know it. It starts with a equipment that has a bad thing in it. It didn't scan the machine before it put into the network. But actually, if you scan it, it probably wouldn't help that much either. But anyway, it didn't scan it, and then it connected to the network. Within 1 hour, all of the 14 gigafabs in Taiwan all got infected. It propagated very, very fast. And interestingly, even the front door in the Hsinchu headquarters also get compromised, so people cannot get out. So it's interesting to find out that the attack software does not discriminate which computer, one from the other. Or whatever the computer it can grab, it grabs it. And then lots of firewalls all over the place. It didn't actually block the propagation. So, and therefore it impacted the production. And there's a 3-day shutdown, and the estimated loss is more than 170 million. This is a scary one, it just happened recently. 3CX supply chain attack. This one is pretty advanced. Right? The hacker actually put the bad things into a piece of software, and it gets signed. The software is signed, and then Microsoft trusts it. And that software gets downloaded into the 3CX code base. 3CX is an online cell phone, online IP phone solution. So the 3CX software got downloaded into the customer's machine environment. And then, as a result, the hacker can control the customer machine. There are 600,000 customers. I don't know how many machines that get compromised. So this event significantly impact the reputation, the enterprise reputation to this customer and trust. And the intelligence that is coming from those customers. Okay, so why we're so bad? Why we're so vulnerable? What happened? The connection, the text coming from connectivity is in the network security category in the security industry. If you look at the network security, it has been largely focused on building stronger wall and parameters. All the attacks are originally from outside, and the enterprises are trying to build stronger, powerful perimeters. It's like the castle model. And then inside the company, all users, all machines can connect everything else. It's called hot shell, soft inside. So that's been the model being used for decades. Even today, most of the enterprise today in your company is still using this model. So what's the problem? The problem is that the attacks are already inside. This is a report published by Mania. So there are many attacks are already inside the company. People know. I'm sure many of you know too. Okay. Many of them get captured by the security tool, but there are many other ones are hiding. They can hide there for years. So people know this thing, it's just they don't talk because it's not a good name, not a good reputation for the enterprise. But however, if you're executive in the enterprise, you're obligated to know this, and you're also obligated to fix it. Even the Department of Defense couldn't keep them out. It's been published indicating that malicious actors often breach the department perimeter and also start to roam inside the company, inside the military freely. I'm sure many of you played this game before, Nintendo game. I just cannot deal with it. My kids always beat me. I look at all those guys, they're all the same. But if I look at it, helpfully, they're all different. In the cybersecurity world, similar situation. There are all kinds of smart ways to try to keep the bad guys out, but it's difficult. Okay? It's working, but it's very difficult to be effective. Today, one of the challenges is that the corporate IT, the InfoSec team, is busy dealing with a large amount of security alerts every day. It's very easy to get false positive, false negative. It's just very difficult to get accurate. So, and then at the same time, COVID-19 is just not just hit the healthcare side of the world, it's also hitting the cybersecurity world as well. March 2020, COVID pushed everybody home, and people started work from home. And then the VPN usage dramatically increased globally. We just talked about VPN earlier. So as a result, it's hitting the enterprise, and then 1 year later, less than 1 year later, the global VPN attacks is increasing 2,000%. So not surprising. But that's the, people have no other way. You got to connect the employee to work from home. So how can we secure our digital future if we just cannot stop the hacker? What's the method? So here comes the zero trust. Zero trust concept is actually pretty simple. If you cannot capture all the increasing hackers, the hackers are digitized. The hackers are using advanced technology such as AI to attack you. They're evolving in a much faster speed than before because they are the digital world as well. So the zero trust means if you know who's going to visit you, instead of block all of the unknown people, you know who's going to visit you. You just check whether that's your friend that expected gas that's knocking your door. You check that guy's identity, ID. Okay? So concept here is that you know the hackers are in your network. If I know who's going to visit my computer, my resources, I just check that visitor's ID. And I will not check all of the hackers, right? So if I do that, all the hackers by definition are not allowed. It's a whitelist concept rather than catch the bad guy always. Very simple concept. Okay. So why the zero trust can be effective? Well, it's a lot more difficult to pick out the bad guys in a large cloud. But if you know who's going to visit you, you can focus on checking if that person is the right person. But of course, here we're talking about not just the human, we're also talking about the software that's used to knock the door, to connect to your server. So if you know what's the software, you expect the software to use, then you check out that software, you check out the user, rather than trying to catch all of the bad guys. Very simple concept. Okay? Now, the US government is pushing this technology now. President Biden has office, they have Executive Order 14028. They mandate all federal agencies to adopt zero trust and go production before the end of 2024 because of the promising direction, different object. And then also require all the software that's selling to the government have to adopt the security practices in zero trust. And also, they push the commercial industry to pay attention to this. The concept there says, if you're going to sell the software to me, if your software development process, if you're not paying attention to it, you're not using enough security practices such as zero trust as an example, and you get compromised, and you sell the software to me, you're liable. It's a very advanced, aggressive concept now. So the government trying to put the liability to the software developer. Very soon, this is going to go to the silicon development as well, because if the cyber attack gets into the silicon, the results are even worse than getting into software. This is a chain of the trust, trying to catch, making sure that all the things in the pipeline, the supply chain, are protected. All right, so all good. What's the challenge for zero trust? It may not be easy to do. First thing is that now you have a whitelist, you list all the good guys, but this is something that the enterprise didn't do before. Remember, hard shell, soft inside. Everything inside the company are allowed to connect. So the enterprise doesn't have the policy that who can access what, and what access method, i.e. the software, are allowed. So the enterprise got to start to define the thing in order to leverage the zero trust. If I give you a zero trust solution, you're the enterprise, you gotta have to define your policy so that you can take advantage of this advanced technology. Okay. The good news is that you only need to do once. You don't need to do it every day. You can change all the time. Okay. The other challenge is that how to enforce the policy. That may not be easy. Here I go a little bit deeper, a little bit more technology. The zero trust enforcement can be challenging. I think here I have a generic model. User with a laptop connected to application 1. The application 1 connects to the backend application 2. You know that the back tier of the enterprise application can be very complex. I mean, just a generic model. Okay? And then each of these three things have the ID. You want to verify the ID before you allow them to connect. Okay? Here I use the example, the green line is the legal one. For example, between the application 1 and application 2, I use the TSMC one quite example. If, the legal one was Microsoft SFE traffic using 4445, and then the attacker using SAM 445, but running attack traffic. Before you can do anything, the customer tell me that you cannot touch my software, you cannot touch my application. Well, they're very reasonable because number one, my software, my application, not by me. I purchased it from other software vendor, so I cannot touch it. The software vendor needs to fix it. Number two, even if I have a contractor, also software development outsourcing, outsource to India or some other part of the world, but that developer is long gone, so I cannot touch it. Number three, I have so many application software in the company, so I cannot change it. So you cannot touch my software. Okay, you cannot touch my application. Okay, so then let's figure out how to use the network to implement zero trust, to enforce the checking of identity. Right? I put the gates there, the policeman. One easy way to think about it is a firewall. I put them into the network, trying to capture the packet, trying to check. The first problem is that when the packet arrives at the gate, the packets are using traditional 5-tuple. For example, firewall, check the source IP, destination IP, source port, destination port, and protocol. That's the standard way of doing it. 20 years already. Right? it does not have the identity in the file tuple. So then the firewall will open up, look at the payload, look inside, try to do deep packet inspection, try to figure out that where is that identity. But the identity is still not there. What you have is the behavior, the symptom, and how the bad things sending traffic, and then the gateway is trying to use reverse engineering, trying to figure out the identity. Very, very difficult. Okay? So once you do deep packet inspection, the cost is 10 times more. And you do this inside the enterprise network, the aggregated traffic volume inside the network is more than 100 times bigger than the traditional firewall deployed on the edge connected to internet. So the cost is several orders of magnitude higher, even if it could do it. Okay? Then secondly, you put the gateway on the right. Another problem is that it's very difficult to defend the network when you put something inside the network. You know, for example, the hacker inside the network, you put the gate on the right-hand side. You know, it can effectively capture the traffic that the hacker is sent to the machine on the right, but it couldn't capture the traffic that the hacker sent to the machine in the middle. And as a result, the machine in the middle, the application 1, got compromised, and it started to send out the bad traffic, the attack traffic. The gateway doesn't even know because the packet didn't go to it. So it's very difficult if you go to the network level trying to do this. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, the customer also tell me, don't touch my network. Not just not touch the application, but don't touch my network, because the enterprise network has been very, very complex. It's accumulated over years. It has so many different things on it, they just don't want to change. Okay, so you cannot touch the application, you cannot touch the network. Now, how to do this thing? There are emerging technology using overlay solution based on software, trying to solve the problem. You know, we are in a digital world. So the enterprises, you are using the digital applications software. The hackers are trying to use the same technology, AI, whatever, to attack you. Now the cybersecurity will also leverage the technology trend, digital transformation and all that, protect your application. So it's a software, it's a smart, and a part of the digital future. Concept is very simple. You have the network infrastructure, don't touch it. They're on the layer. And then you put the overlay on top. Everything works. Simple. Okay. Now, how does that work? We're all engineers. So I use the same model, you know, simple model. You have human with a laptop, connect to the application 1, connect to the application 2. All of them have the identity. You gotta have to check the identity before they allow them. You don't search for the bad guys. You allow the good guys. Right? So one method they can do, oh, by the way, don't touch my application, don't touch my network. You just insert the zero trust in the middle. Okay? So one solution is that you have a central engine, the policy engine that understands how you defined it earlier, that who can access what's the software can touch what other software to define that policy. And then let's see how the system will implement that policy for you. So you put the software on all the machines, just like a digital application, just like endpoint security, you know, if that's easier for you to think. And then the difference is that all the software will talk to the central engine controller who enforce the zero trust policy. And then all the software could check identity for you. Then you start to send traffic, right? The first thing to do is that you code the software on the application 1 and application 2. They start to implement the virtual gateway. Remember earlier I said that the gateway in the network is very difficult to do. Now you have the software right beside that application running in the computer. It can implement the gateway for you. So then you close all of the applications that are critical that you want to protect them. You want to enforce that all of the visitors, that guests that knock the door trying to connect to this application, you force them to go through zero trust practice. And then send the traffic. So when you send the traffic this way, look at it, the black wire got blocked. Why? Because you know the Microsoft SMB is allowed. Your application, you expect the application 1 talking to the application 2 using Microsoft SMB, but you will not put the hacker's software on your whitelist and out of the hacker whitelist anyway, right? So therefore, the zero trust policy wouldn't allow it. So it doesn't matter what kind of attacker software you have on that machine, you will not let it go through because of whitelist zero trust. The hacker in the same network, now he couldn't even find where the application 1 and application 2 are located because the hacker is not on your whitelist. So the hacker is not allowed, they will not connect. They cannot even find it on your network. So the concept is very simple, still following the same digitalization concept. Just add new and smart software for security, along with your digital application software. Okay, so now we have zero trust. It can help the business. Let's look at with this kind of things, what kind of business you can do that the business are protected. First, now you can secure your software development and protect your IPs. I'm sure that many of you are in the supply chain developing some kind of hardware product, software product, providing to your customers and all that. This can potentially help you. So first, you can easily identify all the users who can access to the source code. And then you can build trust with your customers by preventing the injection of bad things into your product. And of course, you can protect your IP against the leak. But many industries are using hybrid cloud now, so this can also help the hybrid cloud. When you deploy the solution, your application, your digital application to the hybrid cloud, this zero trust can go with it. And then you can allow the trusted user and application only that need to connect across the corporate boundary. Hybrid cloud still considered by many enterprises as the traffic coming outside to inside. So zero trust can protect the application that you run on hybrid cloud to come in and go out. And of course, extend the trust cloud services to customers. That's even more sensitive because the customer need to trust you as a company, but they also need to trust your application and your practices. So this can help that too. Okay, defense against ransomware, of course, this is obvious. You cloak the critical applications with the zero trust. Control only the good guy can knock the door. The bad guy cannot even find your application anymore on the network, even if they're hacking, even if they use VPN to go into your company. And then, of course, you can protect against the insider, against the data leak as well. Okay, supply chain ecosystems. Again, I'm sure that many of you are in the supply chain ecosystems as well. So it would enable the trusted connections across organizations and companies. Again, you have applications going across companies. Because of digitalizations, the zero trust is yet another digital application. Go with your application together, so it can be easily enabled. And then you can easily provide the least privileged access to third-party users. If they're a customer who are collaborating with you, or there's a vendor supporting you, you can enforce the zero trust there too, so that it's trusted. The AI is the very hot topic. So this can apply to AI as well. It can shield the private AI and training data to prevent the leaks, and it can connect and protect the AI workloads across hybrid cloud. It's a hot topic now, where you put the AI stuff on-prem or in the cloud. And most importantly, after you finish training your AI, you want to connect to the customer side. Zero trust can go with your digital application, connect to your customer as well. So your customer is protected, you're protected as well. Digitalization improved the quality of life. The zero trust is going with it, for our digital future. I can see the connectivity with, coming in the future, I can see the connectivity with identity and reputation. Definitely see that the trust of digital and AI services over the place. It is the federated trust across the new digital world. Thank you. That's my talk.
Thank you, Dr. Jaushin, please stay on stage. We have a token for you. Jonathan, please come forward to the stage. If Jonathan is not here, Raymond, would you like to? Show our appreciation. We have a token of support back to you. Let's thank our speaker again.